Welcome back to the Nutrition Made Simple podcast, powered by Healthy Steps Nutrition. At Healthy Steps Nutrition, our mission is to help 1 million people take control of their health one step at a time so they can prevent and reverse chronic disease. My name is Nicole Aucoin, and I'm the founder and one of the dietitians here at Healthy Steps Nutrition, home of CrossFit HSN and HSN Mentoring. In this podcast, we're going to teach you how to take one step at a time to be able to prevent and reverse a chronic disease. I'm so passionate about this topic. Why? Well, I worked as a dietitian in the hospital for years and realized how broken the healthcare system was. It was a revolving door. People weren't getting the support that they needed to truly make lifestyle changes. Doctors are overwhelmed and overworked, and really the hospital setting, the conventional medical setting, is a sick care system. You go in, you're sick, you get a medication, but we're not necessarily treating the root cause. And if we can take control of those things that are going to either help us prevent disease or cause us to go down a road, if we can take control of our health and focus on really 4 main pillars, then we can have a roadmap to take control of our health. All right. Today in this podcast, we are going to talk about the 4 pillars that we really focus on and want to nail down at Healthy Steps Nutrition. I'm also going to talk about the bridge. We talk about these 4 pillars, but there are things that you really need to help you be able to create sticky habits. We talk about one habit at a time because the research shows when you just focus on one thing, you're going to be 80% successful to maintain that one thing over a year. When we focus on 2 things, less than 30%, 3 things, less than 5% success rate. Now, if you are like most people around the new year, you want to change all the things. We are going and eating so healthy. We're cutting out alcohol. We're prioritizing sleep. We're getting to the gym, or maybe we're not prioritizing sleep because we have to go to the gym. Whatever the case may be, a lot of times people go all in. We live in this microwave society where we do more. We think we're going to see better results, but ultimately that leaves us overwhelmed and right back to where we started. The research shows that people regained the weight that they worked so hard to lose. And today I'm going to talk about some simple things to help you take control of your health. So let's talk about the 4 pillars first. We've got nutrition, sleep, daily movement, and mindset. I'm going to give you a couple simple tips with each of these. Then we're going to talk about this bridge. In this podcast, you can go and listen to so many episodes that we have on targeted specific things that I'm going to mention today. And if you click the link in the show notes, you'll get some more supplemental podcast episodes as well. So let's just start with nutrition. At Healthy Steps Nutrition, we have 3 core nutrition principles. Now, there's a lot of noise around nutrition. There's a lot of misinformation out there. There's people with 6-packs that think that they can, teach you everything because they have a 6-pack, when in reality, there's probably a different agenda there. You look at the documentaries online, and a lot of them will have companies that financially benefit from people, going strict vegan. Oh, where did the money come for that documentary? Oh, a vegan supplement company. Not saying vegan is bad. It's just we need to do our research. And there are some core principles that overall, no matter what diet you or preferences you have, these things come true and play a huge part of preventing and reversing chronic disease. And the first one is focusing on whole foods first. It sounds simple. I don't mean whole foods, going to Whole Foods. I mean, eat meats and vegetables, nuts and seeds, some fruit, little starch, and minimal added sugar. When we think about the foods that we put on our plate, how many of them come from the package? How many of them come from the produce section or meats that aren't processed and packaged? For many of us, we're eating more processed and packaged foods than whole foods. And it's not saying that we have to go from 0 to 100, but start small. Start by adding 1 fist of vegetables for lunch every single day. Track it. Get consistent with that. And then add a cup for dinner. And then add 2 cups for lunch and 2 cups for dinner. See how you feel. adding more whole foods in is going to help you naturally cut down the processed junk that we overconsume. If we focus on adding in vegetables first and filling up our stomachs with those, we're going to naturally cut down some of the processed junk. So, focusing on whole foods first, eat those whole foods first. When we are still hungry in a meal, I would challenge you to slow down. Your brain is 15 minutes behind your belly. So if you are scarfing down a meal really quick, your brain might have not caught up yet to know, oh, I'm actually full. I don't need to continue to eat. We also need to make sure that we're chewing really properly, just slowing down the whole process. So, when we are eating, we want to slow down, put our fork down, drink water, make sure that we're chewing. Research shows around 20 chews. Do a do a little experiment with yourself the next time you eat. See how many times you naturally chew your food before you swallow. For most of us, it is significantly less than the recommended amount of 20 times. So, whole foods first, focusing on balance, pairing protein, carbs, and fats together. Why? Well, there's a few reasons. Number one, most people don't get enough protein in throughout the day. And one of the biggest misconceptions I see from people that exercise or work out is they really prioritize their workout shake after they work out. They're bringing the workout shake. No harm with that. That's great. But if we're not getting enough protein throughout the day, the 25 grams that we're having in a protein shake isn't going to help us build the muscle. We have to get enough protein in throughout the day. So if we're prioritizing protein with every meal, we're gonna be closer to that goal. We also are going to help stabilize blood sugars. So, when we think about the mission at HSN of preventing and reversing chronic disease, a lot of this comes down to stabilizing blood sugar and not having those big spikes and big crashes that we know will cause or worsen chronic diseases. When we look at the top 10 causes of death in the United States, 9 out of the top 10 are caused or worsened by elevated blood sugar. And the truth is, most of us, when we get our general blood work every single year, if you do get blood work every year, we're not technically, most of us are not watching the trends really closely to see, man, does our fasting blood sugar go up every year? Or are we in a good spot? Or is it just, hey, you're diabetic, you're pre diabetic, you need to do something about this, but we're not actually doing anything about it? So, pairing protein, carbs, and fats together will help stabilize blood sugar and it keeps us full longer. When we have protein and fat, it's going to slow down digestion in our stomach, which is going to keep us full longer. If you're trying to lose weight and get healthy, you don't want to be hungry. No one wants to be hangry. So trying to prioritize protein, carbs, and fats going to help you do that. The third core principles that we have at Healthy Steps Nutrition is limiting the amount of ultra processed food and added sugar. Sugar is addicting. Companies know it. Companies add sugar, salt, and fat into things to light up places in your brain so that you crave more and more of it. A simple thing to think about, if you were to put a thing of Oreos down next to you, I'm sure we can eat quite a few and always want more, right? There's fat, there's a bunch of sugar in there. And if we were to have like a bushel of apples, I don't think that we'll just eat a ton of those. No, it's natural food. Is there sugar in fruit? Yes, but it's not combined with fat and salt that lights up those things in our brain. We're satisfied with just an apple, right? So what do we want to do? We want to just first do assessment, right? Look and see how much processed food and added sugar you're eating throughout the day. If you're eating packaged things on the label, it's going to tell you how much added sugar is in there. Now, there's natural sugars, right? But then there's added sugar too. In 2012, and even a little bit before that, it's probably starting in 2010, I started traveling around to CrossFit gyms, traveling around, speaking about nutrition, talking to any athlete or anyone who would listen to me talking about nutrition. It was guaranteed there was going to be a question that came up every single time. Someone was going to ask, yeah, that's all, this is great, Nicole, but when's my cheat day? What about agave and sugar in the raw and all these things? Sugar is sugar. So if you're adding honey and agave and sugar and the raw into the foods that you're eating, it's still going to cause an increase in your blood sugar. It's still going to cause those things to light up in your brain. And the more you have, the more you crave. So do an assessment. Just start slowly decreasing it and see how better you feel, right? Because we know that if we're having a lot of sugar, it's going to cause our energy levels to go up real high because our blood sugar is going up, but then it's going to cause us to crash. And that crash is never fun. We're not able to concentrate. We don't have the energy that we need. So we want to prioritize limiting the amount of ultra processed food and added sugar. And if we're doing core principle number one, eating whole foods first, we're naturally not going to have to change too much by the time we get to number three. Start at the top, work your way down. So that's the nutrition side of things. There's a lot more details. And when you work with a healthy steps nutrition coach, they're figuring out, where are you at right now? What's a realistic next step for you? Let's plan it out. Let's give you simple recipes. Let's give you an entire plan so that we can gain consistency with this one habit, work together, provide accountability, and then we can build from there. Think of it as like building a house. Your body is a house, and you're building brick by brick with all these healthy habits. And, when a storm comes or something tries to derail you, you still have this solid brick. You might veer off, but you always know how to come back to those healthy habits, and no matter what situation you're in. So core principle number one, or pillar number one, we're talking about nutrition. Pillar number two, we're talking about mindset. Now, mental health, anxiety, and depression is no joke. And when we look at the research, more and more people are struggling with these things. And we think about, when we think about mental health, or really think about mental illness, but what can we do to prioritize our mental health so that we can be strong and stay strong? There's a lot of research around this. We partnered with Dr. Christina Migliar. There's previous podcast episodes with her. She's a mental health therapist while also a CrossFit trainer and an affiliate owner. And she talks about this MentalFit framework. And I've actually certified quite a few healthy steps nutrition coaches to be able to coach on this. And what's cool about this is, yes, we talk about nutrition, but there's other pillars that are really important to prioritizing mental health. Did you know getting outside in nature and walking is significantly shown to make huge improvements in your mental health? There's also something around hobbies, finding something that you love to do, finding something new to challenge you. And this isn't exercise for our CrossFit fanatics, for our exercise lovers. This is not, your hobby cannot be exercise, which is tough for me because I do love to exercise, but that can't be my hobby. And I think for a lot of business owners, that might be listening to this podcast, we're juggling a lot of things, even busy moms. When's the last time that you spent some time doing a hobby, doing something for you? We say this all the time, but you can't pour from an empty cup. So if you're giving yourself to everyone around you, how are you going to be able to take care of yourself? You're not. So those are a couple of the pieces of the MentalFit framework that are really fun. She also talks about daily movement, nutrition, sleep, all those core principles there, which let's go to the next one, which is going to be our daily movement. There is clear research around disease prevention and daily movement. And I am not saying that you need to go to CrossFit every single day or whatever fitness modality you do. I'm not saying that you need to do that. Most people that go to our gym go 3 to 4 times a week. That's great. But what are you doing the other days of the week? What are you doing the other hours of the day, even the days that you do go to the gym? We need to be consistent with daily movement. A simple tip, which is going to help drastically manage your blood sugars, improve mood, energy levels, go for a walk after meals. I know, well, down here in South Florida, it is still very warm, but if you're up north, that could be a little bit tough. Just get your heart rate up, get moving. Really helpful to do to help stabilize the blood sugar, mood, energy levels after meals, especially if you find yourself having an energy lull after lunch. Number one, I would look at, is your plate balanced? Are you following something as simple as the plate method? Half of your plate vegetables, quarter protein, quarter starch. Number two, what are we drinking? Are we staying hydrated? Are we drinking sugar sweetened beverages? Are we drinking too much coffee? What does that look like? But we want to go for a walk. We want to stay active. Trying to set a goal of 30 minutes of daily activity per day is a great goal. And that could be broken down into 15-minute walks after meals. The fourth pillar is sleep. Now, you might be thinking, Nicole, I can do 4 to 5 hours a week. Well, or 4 to 5 hours a day. A week would be really bad. Research shows that Health benefits come 7 to 8 hours. Even for adults, we need 7 to 8 hours a day. And there's a lot of research around sleep and hormones. So when you don't get enough sleep, your ghrelin, which is the hormone that makes you hungry, leptin, which is the hormone that makes you satisfied, cortisol, which is your stress hormone, are all out of whack, which can lead to weight gain, mood, energy levels that are not in favor of what we are wanting. Blood sugar levels are tougher to control when we're not getting enough sleep. So we want to make sure that we are getting enough sleep, 7 to 8 hours a night, to give our body time to restore, rebuild, and normalize those hormone levels. We want to focus on those four pillars, but there's other things that are really important that you need to be thinking about. Number one is your support system. So, I truly believe that we should have people in front of us, beside us, and behind us. The people in front of us are our coaches. It is so valuable to invest in a coach to be able to fast track your ability to get to where you want. Every single mentor that I've ever hired, every single coach that I've ever hired has also had coaches ahead of them so that we can all be progressing as fast as we want, right? And does it move as fast as we want? Probably not, but I can guarantee you're going to be a lot slower if you don't have a coach to help you navigate the obstacles that they've already seen, they already know. They might be a few steps, they might be many steps ahead of you, and that's totally okay. So we need a coach. We need people beside us. Those are our cheerleaders. We need people that are speaking life into us. As moms, especially, we're speaking life into our kids. If you're a manager, hopefully you're speaking life into your team members and helping and encouraging them. Well, who's doing that for you? If you don't have anyone, we need to find someone. You need to bring in people that are closer. You might do an inner circle inventory. Like, are the people that you spend the most time with, the 5 people that you spend the most time with, are they a positive influence? Are they bringing life to you? When you go to coffee with them, are you feeling lifted up and excited and want having another cup of coffee, or are you feeling super drained? And that's really important to think about, because even if you have a coach, you still need a good support system. Your coach isn't with you all the time. You need other people that are around you, that are all doing this thing with you. And then you need people behind you. For parents, it might be your kids. Hey, we're going to teach them. Who's the best learner? The teacher. When you look at your kids, if we're trying to teach our kids something, I want my kid to teach me so that I know that they understand it, they can do it. So what makes you a better learner is a teacher teaching someone else, someone maybe many steps behind you, like your kids, or maybe you find someone else who's getting started on that journey with you. You guys can keep each other super accountable. We want to make sure that we have an awesome support system. And when I look at our clients that are the most successful, it's the ones that have an amazing support system. We just had a couple join the gym, and the husband reached out to me first and he said, me and my wife are getting older. We want to get healthy. And I talked to him about our nutrition, fitness, and accountability program. And he was like, okay, this sounds really interesting. He's like, I need to talk to my wife. We do everything together. I was like, amazing. Why don't you both come into the gym? We can sit down and talk to you guys together, and we can talk about what it would look like to get started. And they each did their nutrition initial consult separately, but they're doing all of the follow-up visits together, which is really great because they can keep each other accountable. They're on a similar plan, not the same exact plan, but we're all in alignment and working together. They have someone in the household keeping each other accountable, which is really great because their coach isn't living with you. So having that spouse doing it together with you is really fun. They did all of their personal training sessions together. Now they're in the gym together. We know that when people combine nutrition, fitness, and accountability, they're gonna see really good results. So if you're looking to get started with your fitness journey, your nutrition journey, and you're in the South Florida area, go to CrossFitHFN.com. You can book a discovery call. We can get you started. If you're not close, go to HireANutritionCoach.com. We work with thousands of coaches around the world. We've taught them our guided, tested, and proven framework. And many of them combine nutrition, fitness, and exercise inside of their local facilities, empowering their local community, which is amazing. So we need that support system. We need an environment. We need an environment to help us make the healthy choice, the easy choice. I say this all the time, and I want to dive into it a little bit more. If I had cookies on my counter, there would only be so many times that I would walk by those cookies and say, nope, I don't want it. That's not in line with the goals that I'm wanting for myself right now. At some point, I'm going to have a cookie. Even the dietitian who, is prioritizing health is going to have that stuff when temptation is always around. Am I eating that stuff all the time? No. Do I have a treat once in a while? Absolutely. But if it's in front and center and you have not healthy choices that are present in front of you all the time, it's going to be tougher for you to constantly say no. It takes a lot of willpower. And I don't believe that we just have this infinite amount of willpower that we can just constantly say no and feel fine. We need to make it easy to say yes to the healthy choice. So instead of having those cookies, do a pantry clean out. Get the stuff that's not in alignment with your health and wellness goals out of the pantry, and instead put in the things that are in alignment into the fridge, likely cutting up some vegetables, having them in sandwich baggies. I recently interviewed Avery. She is a nutrition client through our Compete for a Cure scholarship fund that we have, that we partnered with Compete for a Cure. It's a 12-week nutrition coaching program that's completely free for breast cancer patients, which is absolutely amazing. And she talked about how one of the things that she worked on with herself and her coach was getting in more vegetables. And instead of just her doing it, she trickled it down to her young kids. And now they all are doing it, having a sandwich baggie of vegetables every single day. They've made the healthy choice, the easy choice. The kids can go in, grab their baggie, and they're good to go. So how are you making the healthy choice, the easy choice? Are you making it easy to grab the vegetables? Are you making it easy to get in the daily movement? Are you prioritizing sleep? What about your mindset? How are you doing with that? Positive affirmations do incredible things. If you are looking for a book around mindset and overcoming overthinking, Soundtracks is probably one of my favorite books around that. Actually, there's a podcast episode coming up with the author of that book. He also wrote a book called All It Takes Is a Goal. Great book starting in the new year to focus on building momentum, reaching goals, setting goals you can actually reach, and building momentum from there. So All It Takes Is a Goal. That podcast episode is coming out soon. I want to give you a roadmap so that you can achieve the life that you want, so you can feel fulfilled and do everything that you're wanting to do. And it starts off with simple habits. And the most important thing is keeping track of those habits. You can't just say, I'm going to eat healthy. I'm going to, follow the plate method. Keep track of it. Maybe you have a planner and you are tracking every single day. Yes, I'm doing it. It's one of the reasons why in the Healthy Steps Nutrition app, we have clients track their habit that they're working on so that our coaches can see, did you actually do what you said they were going to do? Or were there some obstacles that got in the way? So many people, we all have great intentions, but intentions are not going to be the driver of results. The actions are the driver of results. So we want to make sure that we are tracking our progress. And this isn't the weight. If you have weight loss goals, it isn't necessarily the blood work, although that is helpful to have some objective data. That's the lag metric. That's the metric that comes from the consistency of the habits that you're working on, the brick by brick building. So start by tracking the front end stuff. We talk about outcome goals. I want to lose percentage body fat. I want to lose 5% body fat in 5 months. 1% body fat's a super realistic goal, but we need process goals. How am I going to actually do this? What are the actions that I'm going to take to get to the outcome goal of losing the weight, getting in shape, and how am I going to track that? If you're struggling with this, you can go to CrossFitHSN.com and you can book a discovery call. You can go to hireanutritioncoach.com to find a Healthy Steps nutrition coach near you. We have some incredible podcast episodes lined up. Jon Acuff talking all about goals. I have Avery coming on talking about her experience working with a coach and how she has really overcome the diagnosis that she had in 2019 of breast cancer, and how she's really taking control of her health and really prioritizing, yes, her nutrition, but also her mindset and her sleep, and how those healthy habits are trickling into her family, which is a really cool episode. Hope you enjoyed this podcast episode and it's given you some stuff to think about. Your health is not just about nutrition. It's also about prioritizing sleep. It's also about your mindset. It's about daily movement. It's about setting up a perfect, not perfect, but a good environment to help you make the healthy choice, the easy choice, and realizing you shouldn't do it alone. We need community. We need coaches. We need people that we're teaching so that it can reinforce all of these things for us. Hope you guys have an awesome new year. Make sure you subscribe to the podcast and we'll see you back here next week.